Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Board Gamers. My name is Dave,
Hey, Bob, I'm Dirk.
and today we're going to look at the Wolverine Hero Pack. So, Wolverine came in the first wave of X-Men, Mutant Genesis, and he's got, just like every character, he has something unique. So, we will get to that. But first of all, let's go over.
Is it his aggressive personality?
No, because
See, that's not unique to
that's
him.
not unique. X-23 kind of has that as well.
Whoops.
So, and Wolverine, the unique thing is he likes to bump cameras, apparently.
Yeah.
All right. So first of all, we got Logan here. He's got a hand size 6, 10 hit points, a 6 recovery, which is amazing.
Yeah, but he kind of needs it.
Yeah, you'll see why. He's a mutant. His special ability is Snick. Setup. Search your deck and discard pile for the Wolverine Claws upgrade and put it into play. We'll go over the Wolverine Claws and what they do in a minute. All right. And then the hero.
So the hero side, Wolverine is an X-Men. He's got 5 hand size, still got the 10 hit points, of course. He's a 2/2/2, but he has the healing factor. So as a response, after the player phase begins, heal 2 damage to him. So he gets to heal right at the beginning of the player phase.
Yeah, that's really nice.
It doesn't matter if he's the first player or not. He heals at the beginning of the phase.
Okay. Then we got Wolverine Claws here, which is a permanent, but you search for it. So this is kind of where they kind of came up with the permanent ruling, where this would already start out and play, I think.
Yeah.
Um, so it's hero action, exhaust Wolverine's claws, choose an attack event in your hand, and take damage equal to the printed cost. Now, again, remember, you heal 2 each turn. Play that event ignoring the resource cost. That attack gains piercing. So, doesn't matter what the card is, how much it costs. If you do, like, say, an uppercut, you're going to take 3 points of damage, and then you're going to do 5 damage. So
Yeah, and so this one, yeah, you mentioned about the whole permanent thing. I remember this one specifically because it was the first one that had no cost
right,
or an unpayable cost. I
right.
guess.
Which, yeah, then they had to kind of clarify how that
Yeah.
works.
So,
All right, and then his
right,
signature.
his signature ally is Jubilee. She is a 2-cost ally. She thwarts for 1, attacks for 1, and as a response after Jubilee, she's got 2 health, but after she enters play, you can choose an enemy, and until the end of the phase, when Wolverine or Jubilee makes a basic attack against that enemy, they get +2 for that attack, and that's each time. So if you're able to ready them and use them again, then you get that additional attack for them.
Yeah. And kind of a deck idea I just thought of today as we were pulling cards would be like a Jubilee recursion deck.
Yep.
So we got a few cards for that, but I mean, I'd have to spend some time to come up with a build. We're just going to slide her over here a little bit because.
Got enough recursion. I'd be happy to help you with that. I'll work with, not help you, but work with you on that one.
So
I think you can do it
one
on
of the cards that he's got is Unlikely Duo. It's a 2-cost event. It's a team up card with Jubilee and Wolverine, max 1 per deck. Confuse an enemy, deal 4 damage to a confused enemy. And so this would work if you're solo because you got the Jubilee signature ally, or if you're playing multiplayer with the Jubilee.
Yeah, and the great
player
thing about this team up is it's an attack, so you can use his claws
to pay
play the attack.
Yeah. All right.
Then we've got the Adamantium Skeleton. It's a 2-cost upgrade. It gives Wolverine +4 hit points, which he needs because of all the extra damage he's going to take. But he also gets +1 attack, and his basic attacks gain piercing, which that is super nice because then he doesn't have to worry about toughness, which has been, for a lot of the aggression characters, that was an issue for a while. Is toughness, and well, it still is actually, but toughness was always an issue. So the fact that he can get piercing pretty easily.
Right. And now that means that in addition to his claws, which whatever attack you use the claws to pay for gains piercing, now you have it for his basic attack as well.
Yeah.
Which is great. All right. Then we got Berserker Frenzy. It's a 2-cost upgrade. It's a condition. After Wolverine takes any amount of damage from an enemy attack, draw a card. And after you flip to Alter Ego, you discard. So it's kind of like the Hulk card, in a way.
Yeah, thematically, I understand it. Whenever I was first reading it, I misread it, and it was way better whenever I first read it, because I thought it was anytime he took damage, but it does have to be from enemy attacks.
And now another
Still great card.
great card in his kit.
I got Beta. Oh, that was horrible.
Yeah.
So I got better. It is a 4 cost upgrade. It is a superpower, so that's can be used with Death Focus. But when you would be defeated by an enemy attack, instead your hit points are set to 5, and you ready your identity and discard the card.
Right.
And that's the great thing is it discards, so you get it back. You know, unlike some of the others that do this.
Right. Yeah, because we've got a couple where they flip to alter ego and then they set the dial to 1. Here we staying in hero and we're setting the dial to 5.
And this one discards instead of remove from the game.
Right, exactly. So, but if there's like an assault or something comes up, you can still survive.
Yep.
All right. Then we got Logan's Cabin. It's a 1 cost support. It's a location, alter ego action, exhaust Logan's Cabin, shuffle 1 Wolverine card from your discard pile into your deck.
Yep.
All right.
All right. We got a couple of copies of Berserker Barrage. So it's a 2 cost event. It is an attacking event. And as a hero action, you can deal 4 damage to the enemy. And if the attack defeats that enemy, you can take 2 damage to repeat it. So in other words, you're able to actually go through, if you've got smaller enemies out or, 4 or less, and if you've got a few hit points, you can take out a few enemies with that single attack. So that's a pretty nice one.
Okay. Then this is another good one. Uh, 2 copies of Slice and Dice. It costs 3. Make the following 2 attacks in order. Deal 3 damage to an enemy. Deal 3 damage to an enemy.
Yeah.
So this is like melee, except for the fact that you don't have to choose 2 different targets.
Yeah, they
You
can
could
be the
actually
same target. So I really like this one.
Yeah. And then his Alpha Strike.
Yeah, the only problem with this is it does leave you vulnerable to retaliate from the same enemy if they've gotten it. But, I mean, it's Logan. He'll heal. All right, so now we've got Lunging Strike. It's a 3-cost event, attack event. As a hero action, you can deal 8 damage to an enemy, and if you exhausted the claws, that attack gains overkill. So not all you've got piercing and overkill on an 8 hit point attack. So that's a nice one.
All right, and then his thwarting card, he's got 2 copies of Track by Scent. It costs 2. Superpower Thwart, hero action, remove 3 threat from a scheme. If this removes the last threat from that scheme, draw 2 cards.
Yeah, so that is one thing. Logan's not particularly known for his thwarting ability, so you probably don't get it as much use out of that last one, but it is still nice to have it.
But I like the fact because he's also known for tracking by scent. So
yes.
They actually gave that an ability. So
yes. All right, so we've got regenerative healing. We got 2 copies of this. It's a 1-cost event. It is a superpower, so Death Focus can pay for it. But as an action, you can choose to either heal 4 damage to your identity or discard each stunned and confused status card from your identity. So if you've got both of them, then yeah. Or if you somehow got steady and have 2 of each, you can get rid of all of them.
Yeah. All right. Then his obligation is Past Demons. Give to the Logan player. You may flip to alter ego and choose. So this is like the standard that we've had from the beginning of the game. You can exhaust it and remove it from the game, or you are stunned and confused, and then you discard a card.
All right. Then we've got his Nemesis card here. His Nemesis minion is Omega Red. Omega Red has 1 scheme to attack. He does have 8 hit points, and he's got Retaliate and Steady. Retaliate 1. But as a forced interrupt, whenever he attacks, you deal 1 damage to each character you control. So if you've got a few allies out, he's going to hit all of them.
All right. Then the side scheme is the Carbonadium Synthesizer. While it is in play, Omega Red cannot be defeated, has an acceleration token, and comes in with 5 hit points.
Yeah, and I was actually a little surprised.
And 3 boosts.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that this doesn't have attack on it, to be honest. Or, no, not attack, assault. I was surprised that one didn't have the assault keyword. All right, then we got 2 copies of the Death Factor. It is an attachment. You attach it to your identity, and then after your turn ends, you take 1 damage. And then when you make a basic recovery, you can discard this card instead of healing damage. So you do have to make a basic recovery. You can't recover by other means.
Okay. Then we have a Tentacle Strike. When revealed, you are stunned. Take 1 damage. 4 damage instead if you're already stunned. And as a boost, you are stunned, or take 1 damage, or 4 damage you're already stunned. So you can't avoid it if it pops up as a boost.
Yep.
So, all right. And now we're going to go over some cards
So
that, for each aspect. So,
we're going to start, I think, with the one that he is most known for,
right,
and that his kit comes in.
And we have a lot, and
there's quite a few. We might not go over all of them in detail,
right,
but we'll definitely slow down for ones we think work particularly well with them.
right.
And we didn't grab everything. We just tried to get a really good sampling of
Yeah, if you want to see like all the X-Men, we just uploaded Phoenix recently.
Yeah, I think we actually ran through all of them.
I think we did,
just
yeah,
real quick.
That would be like X-Men, X-Factor, and X-Force. So
yes,
these we just got a few that we think are relevant. Okay, so first of all, we got Gold Balls, 3-cost ally, 1 thwart, 1 attack, 3 hit points. X-Men. When Gold Balls attacks, discard up to 3 cards from the top of your deck. Gold Ball gets +1 attack or plus X attack for this attack, where X is the number of cards you discard. So that's pretty nice.
It lets you
reliably
control, so you can put somebody within range of being knocked out with Wolverine.
Yeah,
so that's nice. Next one we got here is Richter. He's a 3-cost ally. He is X-Force, so for it to be as effective, you would need the Children of the Atom card out there. But he's 1 thwart to attack, and then after he attacks, you discard the top card of your deck and deal 1 damage to each minion engaged for you for each resource on the discarded card. So it allows you to do a little bit of extra damage to several enemies.
All right, so we got Sunfire, which is like a staple in our aggression decks these days because of his ability.
But as a bonus, he's an X-Men.
Yeah, he costs 2, 1 thwart, 2 attacks, 2 hit points. X-Men. After you play Sunfire from your hand, spend an energy resource, choose an attachment with the text hero action or hero response, and discard it.
All right, next we've got Tempest here. She's a 2-cost ally. 1 thwart, 1 attack, 2 hit points. She is an X-Men, and you do have to be an X-Men to play her. But as an interrupt, when the villain would scheme, you can discard her, and you cancel that activation and deal yourself a face-down encounter card. It does cost you an encounter card, but since, again, like I said, Wolverine's not necessarily known for his thwarting ability. So, yeah, it's a good way to stop some of that.
All right, and then we got a player side scheme. Keep them busy. Victory 0. Assault. So this is what Dirk was talking about when we were doing the Nemesis set. But actually, that keyword hadn't come out at that point.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember the timing on it.
And also, you don't want to make it easy for the hero to get rid of the Nemesis set. So
I suppose.
But when defeated, the player who defeated this scheme removes 5 threat per player from the main scheme, and it comes in with 3 threat per player. So with a 2-player game, you remove 6 threat to remove 10 threat from the main scheme.
Yeah, and then, of course, you can use your ability with the claws to do that a little bit easier and potentially get that out.
Your attack. It's your attack factor. So if you put a combat training or Jubilee comes out, which gives up bonuses to Wolverine's attack that turn, you can do it that way. All right, another side scheme here.
This one is Keep Up the Pressure. It's a 0-cost side scheme. But when defeated, it comes in with 4 per player, but when defeated,
2 per player.
Or 2 per player, I'm sorry. 4 in our typical 2-player games, I guess. But each player may search their deck and discard pile for an attack event, which Wolverine loves these, and add it to their hand. Then you shuffle your deck, but until the end of the turn, each attack event is going to do 1 additional damage. So, so not only are you getting an attack and event, you're also boosting them up.
This is kind of an unusual card. It's a 1-cost event. It's an alliance card, but it only costs 1. So, like, I could play it and then Dirk could pay for it or something.
But you can also, but you've got the action, so that's where they can help as well.
Exhaust an X-Force character and an X-Men character to defeat a non-elite minion. So, so if I'm playing Wolverine and Dirk's playing Cable or something, he's got a lot of X-Force people and I have a lot of X-Men people, we could do it that way.
You've got that, or you still got, Children of the Atom.
Children of the Atom does it, and you can do it by yourself. Clobber is the next one. You want to read that?
So Clobber is a 2-cost event. It's an attack event. You can deal 2 damage to an enemy, but if this is the first card you've played this round, you can return the card to your hand. So what's great about this one is instead of spending the 2 resources to play it, you can use the claw ability, play it as an attack, and then return it to your hand. So you actually, you get the resource back as well. So I mean, this is one that we used for a little while when it first came out. We've stopped using it as much, but for Wolverine, it's still a pretty good card.
All right. Then we got full body charge. So this is fastball special in reverse, I guess. We got Colossus flying through the air. It's a 4-cost event. Attack, hero action, attack. Deal 8 damage to an enemy. If your hero's remaining hit points are less than half, which can
They
very
often are.
easily with Wolverine.
Especially if you pay 4 for it.
Yeah. This attack gains overkill. So that's pretty nice. You can go through the minion, and if you weren't quite at half, you use the claws to pay for this, 4 points. Since he only has 10 hit points, you're probably going to get pretty close to being below half just with this card by itself.
Yes. So yeah, that's a great one with his claws. Then we've got here Fusillade. It's a 2-cost event. And as a hero action, you can exhaust a weapon upgrade you control to deal 5 damage to an enemy. Now, you do come with a built-in weapon. The claws are a weapon. So that was one thing we did love, the fact that you can actually do that. And you'll get that instead of the ability.
Right.
But
if you're low on hit points, even after taking the recovery, the 2 healing, it's like, oh, I'm like 3 hit points. I can't afford to use the claws this turn. But then it's like, oh, okay, well, I could just exhaust the claws and, pay for Fusillade, with
just a regular cost of 2, so
regular resource version, yeah.
But you could also throw additional weapons into exhaust for that as well.
Sure.
I mean, like a stun gun wouldn't be a bad one. Well, no, you're not. Never mind. Wrong aspect.
Well,
right?
That's protection. But yeah. But like the hand canyons or Yarbjorn or something.
Yeah.
But okay.
All right. So you've got Into the Fray here. It's a 3-cost attack event. As a hero action, you can deal 6 damage to a minion. And for each point of excess damage dealt to that minion, you can remove a threat from the main scheme. So dealing 6 for a lot of minions is going to produce excess damage.
This card kind of goes along with that. Looking for trouble. It's a 0-cost event. It's thwart. Hero action thwart. Discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until you discard a minion. Put that minion into play. Engage with you. Remove 3 threat from the main scheme. Now, like Dirk had mentioned before, Wolverine doesn't really thwart as much. I mean, he does. He does have the tracking scent, but this is a way to utilize your attack heavy deck, because it's like you get a minion, remove 3 threat from the main scheme, and now you have a target for, one of your attacks.
Yep.
Especially like full body charge, which then you could just overkill.
And if you do happen to, I don't think we included it, but if you do happen to be playing Hall of Heroes, then there's Hall of Heroes bait. All right, next we've got Moment of Triumph, 0-cost event. This one is after you attack and defeat an enemy, you heal 1 damage from your character for each point of excess damage dealt to the enemy with that attack. So you've got, because it doesn't specify a basic attack, so you can use one of these really big attacks with 8 that does overkill, and so you're doing overkill as well as healing.
Yep. All right, then we have Plan of Attack, a 0-cost event. It's a tactic. Search the top 4 cards of your deck, 7 instead if you're an alter ego, for an attack event, and add that card to your hand. Shuffle your deck. Now, Wolverine comes with a lot of attack events, so this works for getting an aggression attack event or one of Wolverine's attack events as well. So,
yep. And the nice thing I like about this is, I mean, it works in hero form. You don't get as many cards, so I mean that could be an incentive to go down, but you don't need to. You can still do this in hero form.
Right.
So I like that.
But if you want to go down to use a recovery of 6,
yeah, All right, then we've got Precision Strike here. It's a 1-cost event. This one deals 2 damage to an enemy, and if this defeats the enemy, you can heal 2 damage from your hero. So the fact that you're taking all this extra damage with Wolverine, this gives you the opportunity to heal.
All right, Skilled Strike. When your hero makes a basic attack, it gets +2 attack for that attack. So
pretty basic one, but works great with Wolverine, especially for the 0-cost. And he does like to do basic attacks. So we've got Team Strike here. It's a 1-cost event. So you can only play this one if you have the X-Men, which you do. But as a hero action, you exhaust your hero and any number of X-Men allies to deal X damage among enemies in play, where X is the total attack of all the characters that you exhausted. Again, Children of the Atom, it goes a long way with helping to increase the viability of this one.
Do it more like that when you grab the card.
Okay, I'll try to remember.
All right.
I'll forget.
I know you will. The best defense 0-cost event, hero interrupt defense. When your hero defends against an attack, use its attack instead of its defense for this attack. Now he's a 2/2/2, but you if you're playing aggression,
Yeah.
you probably got a combat training.
Yeah, you've got probably a few ways to beef that up.
Also, well, no, I guess Jubilee is to the end of the phase.
Jubilee's into the phase, so
yeah,
that's
so it wouldn't work.
I think it's phase. I don't think she's turned. Let me look at it real quick. I'm pretty sure she's phase. Till the end of the phase. Yep.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess if you combine it with like the next card,
Yes.
if you combine it with this card,
Toe to toe. So this is a 1-cost event, and you can choose an enemy, and that enemy attacks you. So this is the way you can do it during the hero phase, and then you deal 5 damage to that enemy. So then you do the toe to toe, throw that on there as well. You've already say maybe got a beef up from Jubilee, or a couple if you've recurred her somehow. Although your aggression, you're probably not recurring as much there.
no. Then we just have uppercut. This is a standard. Cost 3, deal 5 damage to an enemy. So that's, but with Wolverine, you could just take 3 points of damage, and then to deal 5 points of damage.
Yeah,
with
so
the claws.
it's a little bit versatile. You can spend the resource if you have them, but you can use his claws as well. So that's kind of why we, it's nice to be able to see some of those old classics come back.
All right, and now we have. Now I'm mad.
Yeah, we got a stack of upgrades here too.
So it's a 1-cost upgrade. It's a condition. Play under any player's control, max 1 per player. When your hero's remaining hit points are less than half of your hero's starting hit points,
and that happens often.
Now you get +1 attack and -1 thwart. So a lot of those cards that were based on the attack would be affected by that.
And then again, this one actually lowers his thwart even more, so makes some of that thwart or threat stoppage that we showed earlier come into play a little more. So here we've got Battle Fury. It's a 1-cost upgrade. You can play it under any player's control, and it does have a max of 1 per player. But after your hero attacks and defeats a minion, you can deal 1 damage to the hero, discard Battle Fury, and ready your hero. So it's a way to get another attack.
And he's in the artwork, so
you have to
play it. And this card as well.
Next card too.
Blood Rage. 1-cost upgrade, max 1 per player. After you defeat an enemy with a basic attack, exhaust Blood Rage and take 1 damage to draw a card. So, we've got ways to buff his basic ability, with the next card.
Oh, I said,
Jubilee.
That's the one I was talking about the other day.
Jubilee can bump it up, if you had a skilled strike, so we've got a lot of cards that can bump his basic up.
Yep.
And it's another one.
Combat training. So this is a classic. It's a standard one for our aggression decks, but it's a 2-cost upgrade. You can play it under any player's control, but you get +1 attack to your basic attacks.
Yeah, that's been around since the beginning of the game. Then we got
a goodie.
Counter attack. It's a 1-cost upgrade. It's a preparation tactic. After you take damage from an enemy attack, you can discard it to deal an equal amount of damage to that enemy.
So that one works. The stronger the enemy, the better that one works. But still a great card. So this one is Fluid Motion. It's a 1-cost upgrade. After you play an attack event, you can exhaust this card. Your hero gets +1 attack until the end of the phase. So you could play, say, something like Clobber at the very beginning, get it back. Then you play the Fluid Motion, and you are able to just, roll up even more attack during a turn that way.
And you got follow through, and this is like really good when you can get 3 copies on the table.
Oh yeah.
It's a 2-cost upgrade. Follow through. When your hero's attack deals any amount of excess damage, increase that amount by 1. So that's for each one. So you could
potentially do
an extra 3. Yeah.
Yeah. Here we've got Gatekeeper. It's a 0-cost upgrade. You do attach this one to a minion, but the attached minion gets an additional 2 hit points. But whenever you defeat that minion, then you can remove 4 threat from the scheme. So again, it's a way for Wolverine to do a threat, and he's got a lot of big beefy attacks, so he does have the ability to defeat a lot of those minions.
All right, then we got Godslayer here. It's 3-cost upgrade. Restricted. When your hero makes a basic attack against a unique enemy, exhaust Godslayer. Your hero gets +2 attack for this attack. So this is good, when you're going up against a lot of unique enemies, like say the 4 Horsemen scenario, would be a good one. Or, if you've got a bunch of generic guys, you can always exhaust this for like Fusillade or something,
Yep.
So.
All right, then we've got Hand Cannon. This is a tech weapon as well. It's a 2-cost upgrade, but this one is restricted. But it comes in with 3 charge counters, and whenever your hero makes a basic attack, you can exhaust hand cannon and remove a charge counter from it to get +2 for that attack. So this one, oh, and the attack gains overkill as well. So this is nice to have that overkill on a stick whenever you need it. It's also something that can work to trigger Fusillade as well, because you're probably not going to use it as much, so it might come out and actually stick around for a little while.
All right, then this is a staple for aggression decks. 3-cost upgrade, home technique. It costs 2 mental to pay. You have to spend 2 mental to pay for it, minimum. And when you play an attack event, if you pay with a mental, increase the amount of damage equal to the printed cost of that card. Now, of course, this doesn't work with if you use the clause to pay for it, but you can only use the clause once per turn. So you are going to still be paying.
Yeah, you'll still have plenty of
you're
attack
still going to
events.
do attack events the traditional way. So.
Yep. All right. Then we've got Yarn here. Again, it's another weapon that can be used for Fusillade if you needed to, but it's a 1-cost upgrade. It is restricted. So, you've got the maximum of 2 per player, but as a response, after your hero attacks an enemy, spend a strength resource and deal 2 damage to that enemy. So it's a way to get some extra damage in after doing an attack, and it does not have to be a basic attack.
All right. And martial prowess. 2-cost upgrade, play under any player's control, max 1 per player, exhaust martial prowess, generate a strength resource for an attack event.
And of course, we love attack events as Wolverine. We've also got here suppressing fire. It's a 0-cost upgrade. It's another one that you attach to a minion, but when you attack and defeat that minion, you can heal 2 damage to your hero. So it's a way to get some additional healing for all that extra stuff you're taking.
And this is a nice build-up when you're doing a lot of attack events, and this would be good for Wolverine and the aggression attack events. 1-cost upgrade, test the defense, max 1 per player. After you play an attack event, you put a test counter here. Then if there are 5 or more test counter here, you can discard to deal 5 damage to an enemy. So it's kind of a slow build-up, and then boom, you can do an extra 5 points of damage.
Yep, so you can either do that 5 to flip, you can do the 5 to get rid of a nasty minion, or the 5 to finish it off. Here we've got the direct approach. It's a 1-cost upgrade. You attach this one to a non-permanent side scheme, but the attached scheme gains assault. So this is a way to utilize all the extra attack that you've got to be able to get rid of side schemes as well.
All right, and then our final aggression card. This is a nice one. It's warrior skill, 2-cost upgrade. Uses 3 warrior counters, max 1 per player, and then when your hero attacks, remove 1 warrior counter from here to deal an additional damage. So that's and this could be with events. It doesn't have to be the basic, but you could use the basic or the events. Yep. So this is really nice when you're going to be 1 short from
which it always seems like that's the case.
Yeah. All right.
I just need 1 more.
All right. So now the other aspects are nowhere near as many cards as aggression. We have almost as many aggression cards as we do the rest.
Yeah.
Okay, so for justice.
All right, so we'll start off here with Banshee. Banshee is a 4-cost ally, thwarts for 2, attacks for 2, 3 health. He is an X-Men though, and then after he thwarts, you can confuse a minion, so it helps out with the threat there.
All right, then we got Blindfold. She's costs 3, 2 thwart, 0 attack, 2 hit points, psionic X-Men. After Blindfold enters play, look at the top 5 cards of the encounter deck, discard 1 of those cards, and put the rest back in the same order. It's kind of nice to get rid of, say, shadows or, one of those annoying Nemesis cards,
Yep.
After shadows come out, or the obligation if you don't want to flip down.
Right. Then we've got Dazzler here. She's a 4-cost ally, 2 threat, 2 attack, or 2 thwart, 2 attack, 3 hit points. She is an X-Men as well, but after she enters play, you can confuse an enemy, so you can prevent the villain from scheming.
All right. Then we get to the events. So it's a 2-cost event. Brains over bronze, attack, hero response attack. After your hero makes a basic thwart, deal damage to an enemy equal to your hero's thwart. So, like he's a 2/2/2, but you put heroic intuition on him. Now he would have a 3 threat or a 3 thwarting. So, yeah, this is kind of nice to make sure Wolverine doesn't forget his origins when he's playing Justice, that he still wants to do damage. So.
Yep. All right, then we've got Concussive Blow. It's a 3-cost attack event. As a hero action, you can confuse an enemy, and if you paid for this card using a strength resource, deal 3 damage to that enemy. So, of course, if you use the clause, you're not going to be doing the 3 damage, so you might want to play with, if you're not going to kill the enemy, then you might want to pay for it the regular way. Otherwise, yeah, you can just confuse an enemy if you need to kind of delay that a little bit until you can deal with it.
Right, and here's a card that we don't play very often. Great responsibilities, zero cost. Hero interrupt. When any amount of threat would be placed on a scheme, you could take it as damage instead. So this is a nice emergency, prevent the main scheme from popping. And then it's like, well, I'm just gonna heal it, eventually, anyways. So yeah, I'll play great responsibility. We'll stop the main scheme from advancing or ending the game, and next turn I'll be able to heal at least 2 of the damage back. So
Yep. All right. Then we've got Gunboat Diplomacy. So this one does require a little help, but it's a 1-cost attack and thwart event. It's an alliance card, but you can exhaust an X-Force character and an X-Men character. So you could do this yourself either by building the deck with those or using Children of the Atom. But you remove X threat from among schemes in play and deal X damage to enemies in play, where X is the combined thwart of the 2 exhausted characters. So again, you don't have the best thwart in the world necessarily, but you can combine it with another character who does have better thwart, and you can deal damage and remove threat in combinations there.
all right, then we got Pivotal Moment. It's a 2-cost event. It's an attack, hero action attack. Deal 2 damage to the villain, 5 damage instead if there's no threat on the main scheme. So, especially if you're using the claws, this is really nice. And if somehow you got rid of all the threat, you take 2 damage to do 5. But even in an emergency, 2 to 2, that's pretty nice.
Yep. Then we've got Scare Tactic here. It's a 1-cost attack event, and so it's a simple deal 3 damage to a confused enemy. So this one does require the enemy to be confused, but we do have a couple of ways you can do it with either an ally or one of the other events.
Yeah, like Dazzler, for example. Yeah. All right, then we got Stealth Strike. We have to put this card in because Wolverine's on the art. 3-cost event attack, hero action attack. Deal 4 damage to an enemy, and if that enemy is defeated by this attack, you can remove 2 threat from a scheme.
So this one's great against small minions that are easily defeated, especially if you can get overkill. Then the last one no, not the last one. The next one we've got here is Swift Retribution. It's a 1-cost attack event. As a hero action, the villain schemes, and then you deal 4 damage to the villain. So yes, this one actually does add the scheme, but especially if you've already confused them or something, which we've shown a couple of ways to do that, then you can get 4 damage off of it for 1 cost. And it's an attack, so it's only 1 health if you use the claws.
All right, so this card is included because it's an attack. It doesn't really kind of follow his theme so much, but except for the theme that you want to do damage. 0-cost event, so you don't even have to exhaust the claws for it. Turn the Tide. Response attack after your hero thwarts and removes all threat from a scheme. Deal 3 damage to enemy. Since you're playing Justice, you're going to have more ways to thwart. So,
but you're Wolverine. You still want to do damage.
Yeah, you still want to do damage.
Then we've got Waylay here. It's a 3-cost attack event. So this one is after your hero thwarts, you deal 4 damage to an enemy, 7 damage instead if it removed the last threat from a scheme. So that 7 damage is wonderful if you're able to actually do that. But if not, it is 4 or you can, you do a basic thwart and then you can still deal damage at a cost of 3.
Right. Yes, this is like a stronger version of Turn the Tide.
Yep.
And then the last Justice card that we got here is Generation X. It's a player side scheme. It costs 0, comes in with 3 threat per player, victory 0. Each X-Men character gets +1 thwart while making a basic thwart against this scheme. But when defeated, each player may search their deck and discard pile for an identity-specific event and add it to their hand. So that's really nice because he's got some really good attack, that does quite a bit of damage, so you can get that one that does 8, for example.
Plus, I mean, come on, Jubilee's on the artwork of this one.
So you have to include it.
Yep.
For sure. All right, now we are in leadership.
So moving into leadership, so we got what's one of our favorite X-Men leadership allies is Beast. He is expensive, costing 4 to get out into play, and he thwarts for 2, attacks for 2, 3 health. But whenever he enters play, you can search your deck and discard pile for a resource card and add it to your hand. So that's nice. He's able to get out a double resource whenever he comes out. So he kind of helps repay for himself. And if you've got another way to pull him out, which leadership has, then you can do that as well.
All right. Then we got another ally, Cyclops. This 3-cost ally, 2 thwart, 2 attack, 2 hit points, X-Men. After Cyclops enters play, choose an enemy until the end of the phase. Increase the amount of damage that enemy takes from each attack by 1.
Yeah, so this is when you want to play this one a little bit earlier in the turn, as early in the phase as possible.
Right. Especially if you can get Cyclops and say Jubilee out on the same turn, because then Jubilee's bonus will apply, which is pretty nice.
And if you're first player, even better.
Yeah, because you're the field commander.
Yep.
All right. And then you can say this when you're the first player.
You got this. It is a 1-cost event. It's a tactic, but as a hero response, after you exhaust your hero and make a basic thwart or attack, you can discard an ally you control, and then you add the ally's matching power to your hero's power for that use. And then you get the ready. So that's just the icing on top of the cake is you get the ready, and it's all a 1 cost.
Right. And this could be part of that Jubilee recursion that I would mention in the beginning of the video. All right. Then we got Mass Attack. It's a 3-cost event. It's an attack. Exhaust 3 allies you control that share a trait with your hero. Deal X damage to an enemy where X is a total attack of those allies and your hero. So, of course, you can use a clause to take 3 damage to do this. So you're exhausting the clause and you're exhausting 3 allies.
Yeah, now this one does require a full slate of allies, so you're going to want to be running an ally-heavy deck if you play this one, but it is a great card.
Yeah. And then this is just part of the...
It's part of the recursion that Dave was talking about. A Make the Call. It's a classic recursion card for a 0 cost. As an event, you can pay the printed cost of an ally in any player's discard pile. So it doesn't have to be yours, but if you're doing recursion, you've probably got an ally in mind that you're looking for. But you get to put that ally into play under your control.
All right. Then we got Morale Boost, which is a 1-cost event. Choose a hero until the end of the round. That hero gets +1 thwart, +1 attack, and +1 defense.
And with Wolverine's ability to untap, that's great if you play that one early.
Right.
You've got Last Stand here. So this is another one that kind of works into the recursion theme, but it's a 0-cost tactic. As a hero interrupt, when an ally you control attacks, it gets +3 for that attack, and then after the attack resolves, you discard that ally. But then once you've discarded them, they're a target for recursion. So,
yeah. All right. Then we go into protection. So we got Armor here. She's a 2-cost ally, 1 thwart, 1 attack, 2 hit points. X-Men. Play all of your identity has the X-Men trait. She comes in tough.
Next one we got here. I think this might be the only non-X character that we've got in here, but Brother Voodoo, he's a 3-cost ally. He's an Avenger Mystic. Thwarts for 2 with double consequential. Double consequential. He attacks for 1. But after he enters play, you can search the top 5 cards of your deck for an event card and add it to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So it's great because, of course, Wolverine loves the attack events, so it's an additional way for you to be able to get additional attack events into your hand.
All right. Then next we have Elf. Nightcrawler. 3-cost ally, 2 thwart, 2 attack, 2 hit points. X-Men. When an X-Men character would take any amount of damage from an enemy attack, you can spend an energy resource, return Nightcrawler to your hand, and prevent all of that damage.
Yep.
So
he's a nice one because of all those extra attacks and stuff you take with Wolverine. Then you can actually prevent it, and it saves some of your healing.
Okay.
Next, we've got Polaris. She's a 3-cost ally. She thwarts for 1, attacks for 2, has 3 health or hit points, but after she enters play, you can give an X-Men character a tough status card. So again, it's a way to help kind of stave off some of those additional attacks you'll be taking.
Right. The final ally we have here is Warpath, 4-cost ally, 2 thwart with 2 consequential, 2 attack, 4 hit points, aerial X-Force, and then toughness. After Warpath defends against an attack, play an event with a hero action ability from your hand, paying its cost. And the nice thing is, your claws have been unexhausted, from the end of the hero phase. So, during the villain phase, you could exhaust your claws to get a free attack off. Of course, you won't. They'll be exhausted during the hero phase, but you can get an attack off early. Like
Yeah. So
maybe he defends the villain, and then all of a sudden you could turn around and attack a minion that's engaged with you before he activates against you.
Yep. So yeah. So this one, yeah, it seems a little counterintuitive at first because you think, well, you want to use the claws anyways, but it is nice to be able to do that, like Dave said, to get rid of a minion before it can activate against you. So that's the really nice thing about it.
Especially like say a minion with villainous or something.
Yes. All right, then on to the events. We've got Counterpunch here. It's a zero-cost event, so you don't use your claws with it. But after your hero defends against an enemy attack, you can deal damage to the enemy equal to your hero's attack. So what I like about this one, it's not, it isn't based off of how much damage you take. It's just whatever your attack is, you're dealing that damage, and it costs 0, so you don't need the claws.
Okay. Then we have first hit. It's a 1-cost event. So during the hero phase, you can deal 2 damage to the villain, or during the villain phase, say for example, when a minion initiates an attack, you can deal 2 damage to that minion. So that minion has got 1 or 2 hit points left. You could actually defeat them before they attack you.
Yeah, another way to do that. Yeah,
right. And even if you take the 1 point of damage, if the minion was going to do more than 1 point of damage, then it's definitely worth to use the claws for that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's even worth the risk on a villainous 1.
Yeah.
So, all right, next here we've got Hard Knocks. It's a 3-cost attack event. As a hero action, you can deal 4 damage to an enemy, and if the enemy is defeated by this attack, you get to give yourself a tough status card. So that's always a nice one because you are doing, like I said, you're doing a lot of damage or whatever. So 4 can finish off a smaller minions, or
keep going.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 4 can finish off some of the smaller minions and get yourself a tough status there. So
okay. So this card, I mean, Wolverine only has a 2 attack, so this card may not trigger every time, but maybe you can convince the aggression player to give you a combat training or something.
Yep.
0 cost leading blow. When your hero makes a basic attack, discard the top card of the encounter deck. Reduce your hero's attack for that attack by the number of printed boost icons on that card. If that attack still deals damage, ready your hero. Another combo would be like we've seen the upcoming Falcon, who during the hero phase you get to see the encounter deck face up. So this could be like, oh, okay, there's
so even if you're not going to be able to do any damage with it at all, if you know what that card's going to be and you don't want it there, here's a way to get
it. But I mean, if it's say an advance or something, it's like, oh, okay, well then I will just do this because it's got 0 boost icons. Thank you, Falcon, for letting me know. And I can do some damage and ready. So that's pretty cool.
All right, here we've got Momentum Shift. It's a 2-cost event. It is an attack event, but you heal 2 damage to your hero and deal 2 damage to an enemy. So you do have to have damage on this beforehand because of the arrow on there. You have to heal damage first, but you get to deal 2 damage to an enemy for that. So, and you could, potentially take the 2 damage from the claws just to get a free 2 damage if you need to.
Right.
Because you're going to heal it immediately.
Right. But it's very easy to get overwhelmed, but where the healing factor can't keep up with the amount of damage you're taking. So that's why that's there. This one is called Powerful Punch. This is a 2-cost event. Attack, defense, hero interrupt. When an enemy initiates an attack, deal 4 damage to that enemy. So it's another nice one where maybe you could prevent a minion from activating because you'll kill them as they initiate the attack. So it might be worth taking 2 points of damage from the claws to avoid a villainous minion doing damage to you.
Here we've got Taunt. So it's a 1-cost event. It's tactic, but as a hero action, the villain attacks you, and then other characters cannot defend against the attack. Draw 3 cards. So yes, it does force them to. You do get attacked by the villain, but it is great because you're probably actually you're playing protection. You do probably have some ways in there to kind of help protect from some of that or to heal it up a little bit.
Right.
But 3-card draw, that's nice. I love card advantage.
All right, then we got a few cards in pool. So this is probably my favorite pool card. It's 3-cost event. Cut upper. Hero action attack. Deal 5 damage to an enemy. Stun that enemy. So we had uppercut when we were doing aggression. This is
Wade's
Deadpool's improved version. Yeah.
I don't know. I think my favorite pool card is probably Negasonic. I like Negasonic.
Yeah, I like stick to it this.
Yeah, that's a good one too. All right, here we've got the bazooka. So it's a 2-cost upgrade. It is a weapon. And it is restricted, so you do have a maximum 2 per deck. But you can discard the bazooka to deal 1 damage to an enemy for each of the negative symbols in play, and the attack gains range. So it is a way for you to avoid retaliate. And this is one you put it out there, you play it, and you save it for whenever you need to, or you've got a few of those out there and you want to deal some extra oomph to your attack.
Okay. And sometimes the damage gets away from you and your healing factor just cannot keep up. That's where this card can come into play. It's a 2-cost upgrade, Get Good. It can also reduce the cost to play Get Good by 2 if you lost the previous game of Marvel Champions.
Hopefully you don't get to use that part of it, but if it's there if you need it.
Yeah. But Forced Interrupt, when a player would be defeated, they set their hit point dial to 1, and then they switch to Alter Ego. And then remove this card from the game. So it's a one-time use during the game. So it thins your deck.
Yeah, it does do that.
But it also keeps the game going too. So.
But it's also, I said, so, the I got better gets shuffled back in, the Get Good gets removed from the game, but it gives you an additional chance because you are taking a lot of damage. So this gives you, if you're playing pool, it gives you additional chances to actually, survive that damage.
Right. And then the last pool card we have.
The last pool card is the healing factor. So it is a 3-cost upgrade. I mean, I love this. I tend to play this when I'm playing pool anyways, but especially if I'm playing Wolverine thematically, this just works. It's a superpower, so you can use Death Focus to help pay for it. You do have maximum 1 per player, but after the player phase begins, you exhaust the healing factor. He'll do 2 damage to your identity. So that means that you're healing 4. Or if you're down in the Logan side, then you're going to heal before you use your recovery. So you'll be able to heal 8 as Logan.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice because then you're just automatically doing 4 per turn as Wolverine.
All right, and then some basic cards. Angel here, 3-cost ally, 1 thwart, 2 attack, 3 hit points. Aerial X-Men, reduce the cost to pay Angel by 1 if you're a mutant or an X-Men. So that's why I threw that in there, because he's a little cheaper. He doesn't really thematically match. I mean, he's an X-Men, so there's...
All right, so then we've got here Colossus. So he is a 4-cost X-Men ally. He thwarts for 1, attacks for 3, and takes 2 consequential when he attacks. But you can reduce the cost to play him by 1 if you have mutant or X-Men. He comes in with toughness, and the added bonus is...
Keep Colossus.
He comes in. Oh, keep that there. Okay.
So we got Fastball Special, which is a team up card with Colossus and Wolverine. So hero action, deal X damage to an enemy, where X is the total attack of Colossus and Wolverine. This attack gains overkill and piercing. So just without any extra increase, that's 5, because Wolverine's got 2, Colossus has got 3. This, of course, works if the other player is playing the Colossus hero as well. Then it's nice to... Both of them would have this in their deck.
Yeah, and being basic, it'll work with any aspect, but if you're playing aggression, you're probably beefing up your attacks, so it's even better in aggression.
Right. And since Colossus is a basic, you can include him in your aggression deck, of course. Yep. Then, of course, they did a movie together, so... We got
to have... I'm surprised we don't have a team up for them.
Yeah, I know.
But, maybe it's coming. I doubt it. But we've got Deadpool. He is a 3-cost X-Force ally. He thwarts for 2. He attacks for 2. But has a forced interrupt when he would be defeated by consequential damage. You can heal 3 damage from him instead and add an acceleration token to the main scheme. So he does actually make you have to worry about the threat on the main scheme a little bit more, but you can, as long as you're not using him to block, you can keep him around and keep using him once he comes out.
And then next we have Professor X, 3-cost ally, 3 thwart, 0 attack, 3 hit points, psionic X-Men. After Professor X enters play, choose 1, confuse the villain, stun a minion, or ready an X-Men. So this is really nice because Wolverine wants to keep attacking. So you can attack with a do a basic attack and then play prof and ready Wolverine again.
Yep.
So
Or if you need the confusion so the threat doesn't get out of control, you've got that option as well.
especially if you want to flip down to
Yep.
to utilize your 6 recovery.
Then we've got Sync here. So Sync is a great one for any X-Men you're playing. But with Wolverine, she works particularly well because whenever you use a basic power, you can exhaust Sync to get +1 to that power for this use. So it does only work one time, but that extra one can be really nice, especially if you time it right. You can do it on any of the attacks, the basic attacks that you're doing. But by herself, she still thwarts for 1, attacks for 1, and has 3 hit points. We don't tend to actually use her much for her thwart and attack, but it's there if you need it.
You want the +1.
Yeah.
My favorite use of her is with the Nightcrawler hero. But
Oh, yeah.
all right, then we have triage. So this is still kind of continuing the theme that's maybe your healing factor is not enough by itself. So triage has got it. She costs 2, 1 thwart, 1 attack, 2 hit points, and then after triage enters play, you can heal 2 damage from an X-Men character. And this also works for X-Men allies too.
Yeah. So if your healing's good and keeping up, you can heal an ally,
Right.
or another player. To be honest.
And Dirk hates this card.
The White Queen. I do love this card. It is a fun card. But she is a 3-cost ally. She thwarts for 2, attacks for 1, has 3 hit points. But she is an X-Men. And you can only play her if you either have the X-Force or X-Men trait. The great thing about her and why I love her so much, though, is after she enters play, you can discard a status card from a character. So that means that more than likely you're going to be using this to get rid of one of the negative status cards on you. But it's great because it's not a forced response. So if you don't have any, you don't have to necessarily remove a confused or a stun from the villain.
All right. And now this is a card we hardly ever play, but like Wolverine Basic, when I did a Wolverine Basic, this was an exception because I wanted more attacks. So it's a Haymaker, costs 2, hero action attack, deal 3 damage to an enemy.
Yes.
And again, you can take 2 points of damage to do 3.
Yeah, the ROI isn't as good as on a lot of other attack events, but like Dave said, especially if you're playing a basic deck, right, this is kind of a really, really nice card to have in there still. So you've got the attacks.
And normally we don't put a lot of events in our basic deck, but that's an exception with Wolverine.
Yep.
This one's can be an exception as well.
Yeah, hit and run. So this one, the great thing about this one, I mean, it is a little bit expensive at 3 for the amounts that it removes, but it's a hero action. It is both an attack and a thwart. You deal 2 damage to an enemy and remove 2 threat from the scheme. So it definitely helps you keep the scheme under control while you're doing your attacking because you can use your claws to pay for this.
Yeah, so you're taking 3 points of damage and you're removing 2 threat, which is, in addition to 2 damage.
Yeah, the 2 threat by itself, maybe not as much, but with that 2 damage and the fact that you can pay for it without
getting at is you could exhaust your claws to remove some threat, which you normally can do.
Yeah, true.
All right. Then we got mutant education here. It's a 0 cost event. Play only if your identity has a mutant trait. So you have to be down for this. Choose up to 2 identity specific cards in your discard pile and shuffle them into your deck. If X-Mansion is in play, draw a card. So this is a great way to get some of your Wolverine attack events back.
But it doesn't have to be an event. You can get this back if you need it too.
That is true.
It's a great way to recur that one.
Yep.
A little faster.
All right.
Next here, we've got the X-Men Instruction. It's a 0 cost event. You do have to be a mutant, so again, you have to be down to play this one, but you can choose up to 2 X-Men allies in your discard pile and just shuffle them into your deck. So, and if the X-Mansion's in play, you draw a card. So you're probably going to want the X-Mansion in play when you do this one, and it's good, especially if you're playing a basic deck. It's really nice, but the fact that you can, when you go down, you can bring back a couple of your allies, that's really nice. And, there's so many allies that work really well, of the different X-Men allies that work really well. So you can kind of situationally pick out which ones are going to be the best for you.
And again, Wolverine's in the art, so you got to play it.
Yeah.
All right. Then we got the X-Jet, 3 cost upgrade. It's a resource, vehicle X-Men. Exhaust the X-Jet, generate a wild resource for a player whose identity has the X-Men trait. So this is the Quinn carrier for the X-Men, with a slight exception because it's kind of like a Quinn carrier / helicarrier in a way, because
it's kind of
I can exhaust it to let Dirk get the wild resource.
Yeah, and I do love the fact that it actually generates the resource instead of reducing the cost. So then, some of those cards that require you to spend a specific resource, you can use them for that.
Yeah. So like, especially if you want a home technique, an event or something.
Yep. Next year, then we've got the X-Mansion, which I mentioned earlier, but this is a 2-cost support upgrade, X-Men location. But as an alter ego action, you can exhaust it and heal 1 damage from a mutant or X-Men character. Not identity, but character. So you can use it for an ally if you need to. But any player whose alter ego has the mutant trait can trigger this ability. So, if you've got a couple of other mutants out there and you guys all have the I've said it multiple times in this video already. Children of the Atom. And y'all have Children of the Atom and all have all the different X's. You can use this on any of the characters then. So that's really nice. Yeah. But you do have to be an alter ego to use it.
So in a couple of weeks, we're going to be at Con of Heroes. So feel free to quiz Dirk on all these kind of cards, and it'll be very enjoyable. All right. So now you have Def Focus because he's got a lot of superpowers. So it's 1-cost upgrade. You can exhaust Def Focus to reduce the resource cost of the next superpower card you play this turn by 1. So this is pretty nice. I mean, it doesn't work with the claws, but it does work. I mean, you're going to always be doing standard as well. And so this will help. And a couple of his upgrades are superpowers as well, like a skeleton, I think, and things like that.
Then we've got the X Gene, which this one is a 1-cost upgrade as well. You do have to be a mutant to play this one, so you'll have to be down whenever you play this. But you can exhaust it to generate a wild resource for an identity-specific event. So this one's nice because your identity-specific events are attack events, so it allows you to play them additionally, in addition to, so you're not having to use the claws to play all of them. You can team this up with something like Home Technique if you're in aggression, or you can use it to pay for an identity specific. Oh no, wait, Home Technique, does that require it's
No, that's only aggression.
Only aggression. So it doesn't work with Home Technique. That's right. No. But but you can use it to pay for yours without having to use the claws as much.
And if you combine it with the previous card, Def Focus, now you've got
you can play a superpower for free potentially.
Yeah, well, you've got a 2-cost discount. Yeah. Basically. All right. Well, anyways, so that was Wolverine. He's pretty fun. He was our first big regenerating hero. Later on, X-23 came out, and she wanted to give him a run for his money. But yeah, so the unique thing with, healing each turn, and you're willingly taking damage to get free at extra attacks is great. Yep. And so you always want to throw in some extra attacks, pretty much no matter what aspect you're playing.
But I did think he was, one thing I thought was really fun playing him in the pool aspect was the fact that he can go down, he can heal for 6, plus the 2, and then use the chimichanga.
That's
truck.
That's
right?
Deadpool's.
Oh, that's a Deadpool card. Oh, dang it. Never mind.
Yeah, I think we
forget I said that.
We did that with the Wolverine, and we did a video on our tribute to Deadpool and Wolverine.
Okay, that's why that works, because right. Deadpool was in the game. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, so
it's still fun to do that.
Yeah, I'll have a link to that video at the end of this if people want to watch that. All right. Well, thank you for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe. And if you want to see new content by us when it comes out, go ahead and click that notify bell down there. Well, on that side, I think. Yeah, somewhere down there. But go ahead and click that, and you will get notifications whenever we post new content. All right. Catch you later, everyone.